Hello there, Ash here. Welcome to an episode of Jeddah Workshop. I thought I'd do something a little bit different today and show you how to change the main board of an Elegoo Neptune 3 Plus. Just in case you've never done it before or if you feel intimidated, it's super duper easy, even I can do it. And I hate electronics. There's no soldering, everything's just plug and play. The only complex issue is taking the wires out and putting them back in the same place. That's literally it, but I'm going to show you how an easier way to do that. So if you follow me on social media, you'll know that I upgraded all my machines from Creality to Elegoo just because they're a way better build quality. You get a better bang for your buck. Their customer service is awesome. So the error that I was getting is my print stopped. I woke up, went to check my machines, the print had stopped, and the LCD screen said update firmware. So I updated the firmware, and you have to do it both on the main board and the LCD screen separately. Did that, and then it said booting up, and then it said update firmware. So I got in touch with Elegoo and told them this, and they diagnosed the problem really quickly, and basically said, yeah, look, the main board needs replacing. So these machines are epic. They just work, they're so good, but obviously 3D printing, things do go wrong, and these machines are generally a new release, so, teething problems. But don't let it stop you from printing, don't let it scare you off. It's so easy to do, and I'm going to talk you through it here. So when you're doing any sort of technical work, make sure you've got plenty of space that you can move around, and you're not going to overcomplicate things and lose screws and stuff. Just make sure you got good light. I'm just doing it here on my dining room table during the day, and get all your tools ready. So what they sent me is they sent me a main board replacement, but they also sent me a completely brand new LCD screen and wire, which we may or may not need, but it's good to have a replacement, even if mine one still works, but we'll check that. And their customer service is amazing, by the way, because what they do is they ask you a bunch of questions to diagnose the issue, but they also ask for your name and shipping address just in case they need to ship something out. And before you've even had a response from them, their next reply will be, cool, we've sent you all the stuff out. Like, just excellent customer service. It has to come from China, so it takes a few days, but just amazing customer service from Elegoo. Right, so first things first, what you want to do is open up the bottom of the machine, but you want to prop it up a little bit just so there's no tension on the wires of the build plate of the bed at the back, just to protect that. Okay, there are a lot of screws on the bottom of this thing, so I've just gone and got my drill because I'm lazy. Also, there's different sizes. There's two different size screws. Most of them are long, and I think about 4 of them are short. So all I'm doing, just so that I know which screws go where, is I mark the points of the different sizes. Basically, all the big ones I just mark up, so I know it's going to be easy when I put it back together. Get that plate off. Be careful because the plate is actually connected to a fan port. That's the only connection from the bottom plate to a wire, so just be really careful. And then it's time to get down to the electronics. Now, I just want to say here, I personally hate anything electric. I don't do soldering, I just hate it. It freaks me out. But this is extremely easy to do, and anyone can do it. So if you think you can't, you can. Now, Elegoo actually sends you set instructions to download to show you exactly how to do it. I thought I'd do this video as well, just to show the trials and tribulations. So what I do before I unhook anything is take a load of photos with all the labels of the wires turned around, so I know exactly what goes where. So if I get confused or I've made a mistake, I have a reference point to go back to. What I'm also doing here is, on a piece of cardboard, I'm laying the new motherboard out just to mark again where all the wires go. It's just an extra precaution so that I know what I'm doing. It's easy enough to have instructions in front of you, but I like to kind of just you know, have a double whammy set of instructions for me, so I know exactly what I'm doing and I can get my head around it, if that makes sense. Maybe it's just my autistic brain. And just make sure that you know what you're doing. That X goes in X, Y goes in Y, and I'm also marking the empty sockets as well. So it's all modern companies do this, but annoyingly they don't just put the wires into place, they also put some hot glue on it. So what we're going to have to do is melt that off, and just be really careful not to damage the wires, because obviously we're going to need to use them to hook up to the new main board. Also take note, if you're drawing a little diagram like I am on a piece of cardboard, that the wires don't just go around the outside. There's a couple that go on the inside as well, so just make sure you mark those and exactly which wire it is. Don't be intimidated, it looks complicated, but as you're doing it, it's really easy. So I'm just going round and I'm just melting the glue and everything so that I can then just pull it out. And you can use the snips that come with the machine to cut your filament, just to help prise them out. Obviously don't put any tension on the wire itself. You can hold it up, but I'm not pulling them out by the wire, I'm pulling them out by the plastic point. And again, marking any points that I've not marked onto it, exactly where that wire goes. So get every single wire out, and now it's time to just remove the motherboard, and all it is 4 Phillips head screws. Unhook your LCD screen, and now grab your brand new main board and slot it into place. Just one little thing to note here is the way that it fits into the LCD screen plug on the front is you have to sort of slide it up and then on, rather than just face on. It'll make sense when you do it. Get all those screws in, and then it's time to start plugging the wires back in, and just be really methodical. Check every wire, every single wire has a label on it, and double check your diagram, and just go through systematically, placing each wire where it is, missing out the empty points. It's so simple if you do your prep work. The most important thing about the wires is the heat exchange, so don't get your positives and your negatives mixed up. On the top thick black and red wire, the top one is black, the next one is red, but then the lower one, which I believe is for the heat bed, the top wire is red and the bottom one is black. So just refer back to your iPhone photos if you took some. So whether you're using the instructions from Elegoo or your own little reference drawing on like I did it on cardboard, or both, just go through it really slowly and methodically. Double check every single wire, every single empty socket is how it's meant to be, and just take your time with it. And lastly, plug your LCD screen back in, plug it in, and give it a test before you've put it all back together, because you don't want to be putting in 20 screws back in and then see that you have a problem. So just wait for it to boot up. Yay! And it works perfect. So now it's time to just put the bottom plate back on and screw all the screws in, and of course we marked all the points that have long screws and small screws, so it's super duper easy. The only thing to mention is to make sure you plug the fan that is connected to the bottom plate back in, and then just line it up. What I do here is, because the screw points have a little bit of play, like movement in them to slide everything else into places, I put the 4 screws in the corners, but I don't screw them all the way in, just so I've got a bit of play to maneuver around if I need to. Okay, boot her up, and because you've messed with the main board, as in we've just completely replaced it, you're going to have to re-level the bed, because it will have obviously lost all those settings. And what I do is just, the leveling thing, the leveling process on these machines is super duper easy. You just press level and it goes to 0 in the middle, get that one right, and then I do it manually, where you go around the 6-7 points of the bed, and with a piece of paper and use your bed wheels to just get a nice gap. It should be the thickness of a piece of paper. So you just slide it around and adjust it as you need to. So it doesn't slide completely freely, but it's not stuck either. There's just a little bit of friction. That's how you get a good thickness, or gap rather, between your nozzle and your bed. And you just go around all the points and do that. And then you just hit confirm, and then it does its auto leveling along all the multiple points. It takes about 5 or 10 minutes, so just leave it to do its thing. Alright, time to load this puppy up with some filament and get it heated up, and let's do our first test print. Again, I've got all my tools around me. Everything should work, but you know, you just want to do a test print where you're working on the machine, just in case you need to take it apart again or alter anything. So I'm just doing a simple calibration cube, and my personal print settings for the Neptune 3 Plus of small things like this, detailed things, would be 0.2mm layer height, 50 millimeters per second speed, 6% infill gyroid. If you need any supports, I do a 70-degree support angle. I use Z overrides XY, and then I do a Z gap, basically double the layer height, so 0.2mm times 2 is a Z gap of 0.4 millimeters. I use rafts with a raft extra margin of 5 millimeters, and the raft air gap of exactly the same calculation, twice your layer height, so a raft air gap of 0.4 millimeters. And yeah, happy days. And there we go. Perfect print and a successful change of the mainboard. Super duper easy. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's been handy. It's here for you to refer to if you need. And I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.
Doesn't sound so bad to me.